everybody. Welcome back to Colorado Knits. It's episode 2.5. Today is Friday, January 29th, and I am podcasting from my home office / craft cave, taking a little break from work today. I did record another episode like a week and a half ago on MLK Junior Day, and it was the world's most boring episode. I got tired of listening to myself talk. So I felt like it was terribly unfair to ask anyone else to listen to me talk about yarn. So hopefully I maybe have a little more energy and maybe have something more interesting to share than I did 2 weeks ago. So I hope you all are doing well out there. I hope you are testing negative and staying positive. Let's see what's new with me. I did get the first dose of vaccine. I work in a residential setting, so I get to... I got access to the vaccine in Group 1B here in Colorado. I got the Moderna vaccine and it was so easy. I went through Kaiser through one of my two health providers, and it was great and it was wonderful. I came home, I did work, I got it on inauguration day, so I scheduled it right before the inaugural began. Watched it on my phone while you had to wait your 15 minutes, and then had it on NPR on the car on the way home. I did great that day. I hung out, watched all the stuff that was happening, did my work, and then the next day I was physically exhausted and had the worst hay fever of my life. I don't have hay fever really. I am a little sniffly today, so I do have hay fever, but it was so bad. I had no arm ache, no body ache, no fever, thank goodness. But I couldn't keep a Kleenex off my nose, and I was snorting saline, like Arm & Hammer saline water that you squirt up your nose, nonstop. I thought my nose, I just wanted to tear it off my face. If that's the only side effect I have, totally down with that. That was easy peasy. But no one else from my office, we all are on Kaiser. Because we work in healthcare, I'm really lucky that my office provides... They pay 90% of our healthcare. I pay jack squat for healthcare, but that means that they also expect that we will go and take care of ourselves. So so we all got the vaccine. We're all getting it. We're in the process of getting it. And my CEO got it yesterday and was kind of tired, or it was the day before yesterday he got it. And he was pretty wiped yesterday when I went in the office. And I told him what happened to me because the Thursday, the day after I got my vaccine, I was dead to the world. I pushed through work, and I sat in my craft cave chair, which is right here, after I finished my work day. I worked from home, and I fell asleep at 4:00 in the afternoon, and I got up for like an hour at like 9 at night, and then I went to bed, and I did not wake up till 5 the next morning. I was just completely wiped out. Part of that is probably just COVID fatigue and pushing it. And there was a lot of anxiety around the inaugural, and around the parade here in Colorado. We didn't have a Martin Luther King Day parade, but there were threats of violence and all this stuff. And so I think some of it might have just been a final decompressing. But it also was from the vaccine. I was wiped, and I warned my boss. He had group last night. He's a therapist and was running a group. And I said, well, be thankful it's a group because you're going to be zonked if you're tired now. And I haven't heard from him yet this morning. I have to text him and see how he's feeling. I was just wiped to the world. But again, if that's the side effect I'm going to have, I am not complaining at all. My mom is supposed to get it. She is in her 80s. She has had a bad reaction to flu shots and she's allergic to bees. And she got called to do a drive-through vaccine clinic at the University of Colorado at Coors Field here, sponsored by the Rockies. And I won't let her go because... I don't want to sit in a car for 2 hours while we wait in line to do it. It's going to be efficient, but they want to do 10,000 people on Saturday or Sunday. I don't know, this weekend sometime. And I'm not there for it. I hate people anyway. Even if I could sit in her car and knit, I just couldn't handle it. And getting my mother to go downtown is a whole nother issue. So I told her she couldn't go because I want her to get it in a clinic where she doesn't have to call 911 from her car. Yes, there are people wandering around making sure you're okay after you get the shot when you do it in a drive-through, but when you know you have a reaction, to me, it just feels safer if she goes into a clinic somewhere. And I told her, I will take my day off of work. I will sit with you. I will drive you to the clinic. I will sit with you after you get your vaccine. I will drive you home. I will work from your house. Not a big deal, but I just don't feel confident with the drive-through. I'd be fine for me or my husband. We don't have allergies like that. I have hay fever, clearly. But I won't let her get it. And that's cool. At least she's willing to get it, because she did have a severe reaction about 20 years ago to a flu shot, and she has not gotten a flu shot since. And now she's 83 years old, so knock on wood. And if anything happens, she'll be in a little clinic and we can EpiPen her. I don't want to EpiPen her, and I know she won't EpiPen herself. So that's why I like that maybe there's a healthcare professional around. My husband had surgery several years ago and had to put anticoagulant in his abs. And I told him I wouldn't do it because he was capable of doing it. If he were not capable of doing it, I would have done it, but I can't. I worked in blood banking for years and I could never be a phlebotomist. I am happy to recruit donors. I am happy to talk to people about the importance of blood donating, but I am never going to stick a needle in anyone if I can avoid it. The ironic thing about that is I have about 12 holes in this ear because in high school, when I used to get bored, I would color my hair or I would pierce my ears. So I had platinum blonde hair. This is much closer to my natural color. I'm not a platinum blonde, but I had platinum blonde hair and about 6 piercings. Like I literally pierced my ear on a school trip one day because my friends bet me I wouldn't do it. So I did it. So this has gone off the rails, but so I am half vaccinated, and Denver is moving into what they call the 5-star program, where if you are a restaurant or a retail establishment who proves that you are able to have intensive cleaning, all your employees are masked, those who can be vaccinated are vaccinated, you have social distancing, all of that, you can open for up to 50% capacity. And I am looking forward to that because we want to visit some of our breweries. They're at 25% right now. And we went to one that we just love, and it's hard on them. And I sort of am like, why are you even open? Because you can only have 8 people in here or something at 25% of capacity. It's a very small brewery. We were thankful we got to give them some money and enjoy some good beer, but I'm excited to see they're going to 5 stars, so maybe some more people can come in. And people here, we're doing well in Colorado. We have a lot of people who have taken the vaccine. Our positivity rate right now is under 5% for the week. We have kids going back to school. The little kids and middle schoolers are back in school. High schoolers, that's probably not going to happen for a while. And I'm feeling pretty good about our COVID response. Speaking of that, I am back at work a couple of days a week, and that helps me because I have no energy when I work from home. I love working from home for my writing, whether I'm writing donor appeals or thank you letters or grants. I love working from home, but the fact that I work with residents in a long-term program, I need to see those residents. They are the greatest thing. To see how they're growing and see how they're changing and how the program's working for them it's my baby. It's what I love to do. So I went in yesterday and it was absolutely fantastic. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in my yays and nays later on. So we are 8 minutes into this. I've ranted about COVID for 8 minutes. So let's talk about finished objects. I have lots of finished objects and I'm pretty excited. I'm going to start with, this is the Always Tangled Together hat. It will be released from Knit and Kitten, Colorado. She's on Instagram. I don't know her designer name, but Erin designed this hat. It's her first design. And you can't see it right now because I use this wonderful Rainbow Peak yarns, but this is a simple DK weight hat. I did a double brim and knitted it together. I misjudged how, I have a tiny head. I have a total peanut head. I can wear toddler hats. This yarn, I don't even know where it went. My Sesame Street yarn is for kids' hats. And I can wear those, but I misjudged how long my hat is. So I'm gonna have to take this out and reknit it and add some yarn in, but it is a lovely, you can see it's got some very simple cables. I don't know how well you can see that. I love that it's got the speckles and it kind of hides the cables. It has regular, I think it's 2 or 3 cables and then some twisted stitches. So it's very entertaining. Knit this yarn, Rainbow Peak Yarns, local Colorado dyer. It's amazing. It is soft, it is bright, it is warm. You can see my ears are not fully covered, and maybe in a normal life, that's great. But here in Colorado, when I walk the dogs at 5 in the morning and it's 12 degrees, I like a little bit more coverage on my ears, so I need to tear this out. The pom-pom just came from Amazon or something. Today is going to be all commercial all the time for some things for capitalism, I think, because this was an Amazon pom-pom. The pattern will be released February 14th. It was a quick knit. I did it probably in 2 days just because of the ribbing, because I did about 4 inches of 1x1 rib, but I love, love, love it. Whenever I can, I do a double rib on this, just because like I said, living here in Colorado, it is chilly, and I like the soft squishiness against my ears. So that's the first object I finished. The next object is one of my languishing whips. I don't even think it was on my list of whips that I presented during December, but these are some really super long knee highs. I knit these on the plane going to visit my family after a family tragedy, and that was a long time ago. That was, I think, 7 years ago, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I know the date, I just don't know the year. I've blacked that out. Yeah, oh, it was 2012. My gosh, it's been 9 years. And I dropped a stitch in when I was binding off or something, and they have sat in my whips unfinished projects, my UFOs, for literally 9 years now, almost 9 years. And so I finally finished them, and you can see they're super skinny. They are ribbed socks. They are a 3x1 rib, but they are super skinny, and I made them as knee highs, which was not really smart. Again, this was 2012, so I was a sock knitter, but not as voracious a sock knitter. But what these work as, amazing scrunchy 80s socks. I scrunch them up. They're like leg warmer sock combo. Scrunching them up around my ankle and my calf, and they're absolutely wonderfully warm like that, and so fun with a pair of leggings. So I still think they're a win. I don't know what made me choose this yarn. I have no clue what yarn it is. There is not a project for this in Ravelry. I did them 2 at a time, so they are perfectly matched except for the cuffs where I had to like tear down and do things, but they're good. I don't even know, like there's this huge knot and stuff in here. So these are kind of fun to wear around the house in the winter. I'm on a leg warmer kick in my brain, so I want to, so they work for that as well. My next pair of socks are, again, this was on my whips project. These are from Knit Picks. This is their Sock Lab Blue Stripe, was a couple of years old. And I started on them, and it's 100 grams and it's 354 yards. So it's almost a sport weight, and it's knit up into a very thick, tight fabric. I knit tightly anyway. And I did 64 stitches on a 0, and it's super tight, and it was super not fun, so I stopped knitting them. But I love nautical. I love blue and white stripes, so I was working on those to get them off of my needles. I thought I needed to reclaim some US zeros. I don't. I found 6 US zeros down in our couch side table, our end table that was on my side of the couch in the old house. So I found literally 3 9-inch circulars and 3 longer needles for toes. So, oops. So these are finished, and I love them. Again, I think if you watched in December, blue's my thing. You can see I have blue fingernails. So I'm excited that those are finished. Just a vanilla sock with a fish lips kiss heel. My third finished object, I guess this is my last one, is, oh, it's my fourth. I can't count. These are the fidget socks. It's a pattern by Amy Stringer. I think it's a free pattern. It's just really a broken rib. And this yarn is I Love Cake from Lemonade Shop. It has been in my stash probably since about 2012, 2013. I don't remember when I got it, but it's been a long time. And I wanted to be able to use it to make some shorties as well. So that meant contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs. So I went through some of my row 1 minis and found some super bright colors. This was actually something I picked up at ZK. It was a People Who Fields color. She's no longer dying, and on my second sock, I actually ran out. You can't really tell, that will be in my shoe, and if someone's looking that closely at my feet, they have a foot fetish, and whatever. So I love knitting these. It's a super simple, it's a 4-stitch, I can't do math, it's a 4-stitch repeat, but It is 12 rows, so it was pretty addictive to just do one set of 12 rows, and I pushed through them pretty darn quickly. So that is my fourth finished object, which is my main finished objects. I might have finished some like shorty socks or something, but that's what I've got. Okay, on to whips. I have a lot of whips. Because I finished 4 items, I felt sort of a need to cast on a whole bunch more. Not because, I just got cast on-itis. So let's start with something I have been working on, which is the cabled pocket shawl and headband from Knit Picks. It's by Joanne Zoller Wagner. It was a Knit Picks exclusive for a while. And my BFF is expecting their first baby. They're doing a surrogacy. And she, I'm going to make her a baby blanket and stuff, but I am a little superstitious, so I don't make things till much later in the pregnancy. Also, being raised partially Jewish, that's a thing about birth and stuff. So this is for her. They have a trampoline. They live in San Antonio, and they have a trampoline, and her husband is an astronomer, and he has been teaching her as long as they've been married about stars. And they got the trampoline in part to be goofy and hopefully not tear their ACLs as adults, but they have like 30 nieces and nephews. He comes from 12 kids. I have a ton of nieces and nephews, so it was fun for the kids in the backyard. But they at night love to sit on the trampoline, lay on the trampoline, and look at the skies. And she sent me, out of like a Sky Mall catalog, a cabled scarf that had like 10,000 cables, and it was in dark gray or black or navy. And she asked if I could make it. And I said, well, what color do you want? And she said, I want black. And Melissa doesn't want black. Melissa doesn't wear black. So I was a little taken aback by that. And based on the number of cables, I was like, yeah, I'm not making it in black. What's your second choice? And after talking her through it, she decided on pink, because she thought this would also be a great thing to sort of like hang out with the baby, and kind of keep herself warm like at night or whatever, when she has to feed the baby. So I looked all over for different cabled patterns. I don't love cables. They're just not my favorite thing to make. And so I settled on this one that has 3 cables, and it's actually pretty wide. So it wraps around. It's a stole. It has 3 cables. It's it's an 8-row repeat with a cable 3 back. I did happen to cable front on one, and someone on Instagram, Stitch Law, saw that and sent me a note saying, I didn't want to call you out in public, but you might want to fix that. So I did drop down and fix it, sort of. It's not the best that I've ever done, but I know she'll appreciate it. It is 100% acrylic. I am doing it in Charisma by Loops and Threads from Michaels. I searched high and low for a bulky wool blend in a brighter pink, and my choices were hot pink or baby pale pink, and I didn't want either of those. So I've worked with this yarn before. It's acrylic, it's soft, it's washable, which is great if she's going to have a new baby, and if she's going to be doing it laying on the trampoline, it's probably going to get dirty. So it's great. It has pockets. That's the whole thing. It has pockets. And they were pretty easy to do. The instructions tell you to do one panel and then cast on and do the other panel and join them. I'm bad at counting. I don't love cabling, and I'm slightly persnickety about everything matching. So I decided to do it 2 at a time. And then I'll just put one on a stitch marker or a stitch holder, and I'll just get another cable, and I will do a 3-needle bind off to connect them. And each cable repeat takes about 45 minutes for me. Yes, it's bulky, but it's a little slow. I'm a fingering weight person, so this is, but I'm gonna have it done hopefully in the next couple of weeks. It's a good TV knit, only because again, it's only 8 rows and there's only 1 cable cross, and I've only messed up 1 cable, 1 cross backwards. So, and it's fun to knit, and it's also nice to sit on or have on top of me in our living room, which can be a little cold. Again, that is the cabled pocket shawl. There's a matching headband. I won't make that for her, but I might make it for me, because I think I'm gonna have some yarn left over. Moving on. casting on all the things. I am wearing a pavement sweater. Pavement sweaters are my favorite sweater. It is by, I want to say it's Vera Valimaki. And it is just a really simple raglan in the round, super easy. It's fingering weight, but I can usually knit one in a couple of weeks. And so this has been on my list to do forever. I have some Knit Picks Hawthorn in confetti speckle, which looks an awful lot like what I've got on, but it's a lighter base with, this has purples and greens. This is red, yellow, blue, pretty much. And so I cast on another pavement, and I'm through, I have separated for the sleeves, and I'm about an inch and a half. For those who don't know, I have a tattoo on my finger that is 2 inches long. So I'm about an inch and a half into it. It needs to have, I think, 13 inches, so I have a ways to go, but it's just round and round total TV knitting. I did get that inch and a half done during some training calls yesterday at work. So that is one sweater I am doing. My other whip, and I will just put a disclaimer on this. Don't at me. If you don't like it, don't follow me. Don't give me lectures on ethics. One of my good friends, I knit her kids some hats back in November, December, just some little kid hats, and they were super easy and she was super happy with them. So she bought me a present, and it was super generous of her. She is a Hobby Lobby shopper. That is her decision. I have some disagreements, but she bought me the Three Irish Girls / Lemonade Shop imitation. The copyright, there is no copyright on it, but the creative theft. She knows I have knit a Three Irish Girls sweater. She has, or not sweater, shawl. She has seen it. She saw this and it was very sweet of her, and she bought me 3 skeins of it in hopes that I would make myself a sweater. So I really can't begrudge her. It was super nice to do. And I also did want to cast on a sweater of some sort. This is kind of crazy yarn. It's got very short repeats, I found out. So I decided I didn't want to do a pavement in it. I am doing a Hitafude in it. And it's actually kind of fun. It is lace. Hitafude is a lace pattern. But it's a simple lace, and it is potato chip knitting, and I love stockinette lace. It is not in the round. It is a cardigan, so it's back and forth, so I do get to purl, and I actually don't mind purling. And it's a super easy pattern. It's going to be kind of goofy sweater, but I think it'll look great with jeans. And I'm going to say something. This yarn is actually pretty nice. All the other discussions aside from it, as I said, it's 100% merino. It is 100 grams and about 350 yards. And it's super soft. It splits a little. It's not very tightly spun. It looks fairly tightly spun, but I'm having some splitting with it. But it's very pretty and very soft. Do I endorse Hobby Lobby? No. But do I think it's super sweet that my friend went out and bought me 3 skeins of yarn? That is so nice of her. So, and I don't have any yarn in here I'd want to do a Hitafude in. And I wore mine the other day and I realized how much I love it. So my final whip is, I had some yarn left over from my blue and white striped socks. So I thought, oh, I'll cast on some Turkish bed socks. I had about 20 grams left over, and the Turkish bed socks take 35, I thought. Then I realized I started making my Turkish bed socks a little bit longer. So these are my most hideous socks that I own. They are Turkish bed socks, but you won't see them because, again, they will be in my clog, so you will never see them. And I'm getting ready for the toe here. So this is just some opal that I got at Interweave Yarn Fest as a contrast color because I have a lot of pink. I figured it would work well for heels and toes, and I thought I would get closer to down the foot with this, but I didn't. And that's where I have some issues. I have a problem not using all of my yarn. And I don't make mitered square blankets, and I have a lot of self-striping, and so I think in a, it might look a little weird in like a habitation throw. Maybe a corner to corner, which is what I'm thinking about doing. But this is what 10 grams of sport weight looks like that I'm making a sock out of. And I don't know what my issue is, but I'm like, there's just enough. I could do a Turkish bed sock. Can't do a Turkish bed sock out of this. And part of me wants to just throw it away, and the other part of me says I wear these socks every single day, so the more pair I have, the better. So that is my last whip. I'm almost to the toe. I lost my sock ruler for a little while, so I slowed down on it. But I can make a Turkish bed sock in like one evening, so it's just a way to use up some of my yarn and feel less anxiety. I know, weird. So those are what I have been knitting on. Needle adjacent, some projects that I am wanting to do. I want to do the inauguration celebration by Casapinka. It is a 3-color shawl, and I have, I pulled it out for this. I have 2 colors from Sun Valley Fibers of Jeanette's MCN, and one is Marrakesh Express, which is this beautiful oceany blue, and Twilight, which is a twilight blue. And then I emailed her, and she is sending me a neutral gray, because gray is my neutral, to do the 3rd color of this with. And I need a shawl on the needles. Once I finish Melissa's pocket shawl, I will cast that on with a nice silvery gray from Sun Valley Fibers. So that is one needle adjacent. My whole yarn thing almost fell. February socks. I'm going to make, I am debating what socks to do for February. For the Sockathon, the 2021 Sockathon I am doing. It's really just knit 12 socks in a month. In a year. It's not a big deal. There are pattern suggestions, but I've made some of those, and so I wanted to do something different. So I don't know what pattern I'm going to do, what yarn I'm going to do. I may just even do a vanilla sock that is not sport weight, a regular everyday vanilla sock. So those are needle adjacent. And then the 3rd thing I really want to do are cabled leg warmers, and the Cozy Up Knit sisters are releasing, they said they were going to release it February 1st, and it's not coming out February 1st, but it is a cabled leg warmer out of fingering weight yarn. I did download a free lace leg warmer called the Horseshoe leg warmer. And I may do that instead while I wait for that to come out. I'm just not sure. But I have that sort of matches. Oh, I just moved it too. Here it is. I have this from Chasing Rabbit Fiber. And you can see it looks an awful lot like the 3 Irish Girls, and but it's got a longer rainbow repeat. So I was thinking those would make fun cabled leg warmers. I also have just a ton of Cascade Heritage. So in this silvery color that I was going to make a big sweater out of, that I am no longer going to make a big sweater out of. So those are on my to-do list. Those are needle adjacent. I have been wearing capri. I love capri leggings. I am short, so capri leggings are almost full length on me. But I wear them no matter the weather under a dress or a long tunic like this. So I think leg warmers would be a nice thing. I don't have heat in my office. We'll talk about my office at the end. I don't have heat in my office, so I have a space heater. Sometimes I put it on my desk, but an extra layer on my legs seems like it would be cute and comfortable. Plus, I dress casually for work. Like, this is dressing up. If people are shocked if people are not in t-shirts at my office. It used to be a little more dressy, but with COVID, they've totally thrown that out the window. It used to be jeans on Friday. Actually, they said casual Friday when I started there, and my boss, the COO, wears shorts on Fridays. And I'm like, whoa, shorts, that's interesting. And I don't wear shorts to work, but I do wear shorter skirts. So we're a pretty casual workplace, and I think just accenting things with my knits will be fun. So now on to purchases, and this piece of hair is killing me. I'll start with the simple stuff. Here's my row 1 yarns for the month. It is, I do not have my reading glasses or my progressives on. This is 29 Bridges. Mary Heron is the color genius behind 29 Bridges. She is in Laytonsville, Maryland. And she has a very sophisticated color palette, and that's how they describe her, and I won't lie. I do not, if you look up here, I do not have a sophisticated color palette. I like rainbows, I like bright stuff, but she has all sorts of purples and browns in here that would go beautifully, sorry for the crinkle, would go beautifully together, but then a hot pink. Row 1 yarns, $36 a month, 10 minis, 10 grams each. I do it for a couple months and then I put it on hold, and I love getting the little minis. I don't use them as much as I should. I use them in my fidget socks, and I use them to make my habitation throw for Advent, but I kind of save them for Advent and then figure out a throw or a shawl that I could do. I also was going to make an Advent calendar for a friend this year, but we didn't get together, so she missed out. And then my other monthly subscription is from Artistic Yarn by Abby. And this month she sent Here Comes the Sun. I kind of was hoping she was going to send a Valentine's Day color. I'm in the mood for pink right now. Like I said, I do not have a sophisticated color palette. If it's bright pink, I will knit it. But this is based on the Pantone colors of the year. It's a beautiful grello. You can see how it will stripe up. I am a sucker for yellow. This month's theme is also good luck. So she sent a horseshoe stitch marker. There's a matching speckled mini with the gray and the yellow. So cute. I'm tempted, I don't know what to do. I could make some cute cuffs or something out of that, but it's a 20-gram mini. And then you always get something a little goofy extra in there. And she sent a horseshoe. Living in Colorado, living in the West, my very first friend in life, her family had a cabin and we always had horseshoes above the doors. So I am kind of thinking about putting it above my door, either in my office or my home office. But it's so cute. It's just a little horseshoe. So that is Artistic Yarn by Abby and her monthly sock club. That is $45 US. And I live 90 miles from her, so she ships it generally on the 15th of the month, and I usually get it by the 18th of the month, so it's wonderful. There'll be some crinkling here, sorry. And then my friend Siri was doing a D-stash, and I have a big fear of missing out. If there is something, I have to have it. It's just like I have to use all the yarn. I don't know what it is about that. So she was de-stashing a bunch of yarn, and I jumped on her Instagram de-stash and I started buying things. So I mentioned that I want pink stripes for Valentine's Day. I've been craving pink stripes. So I'm thinking this might be my February colorway. This is called Bring Out the Good China Self-Striping by Desert Vista Dye Works. I'm not doing the DVD club. I'm never monogamous enough to one dyer to do 12 months of their socks. So that doesn't happen. But this is lovely. It's got some yellowish orange in it, some peach. I don't even like peach, but with the bright pink and the gray, it's absolutely gorgeous. And it came with a hot pink mini. So I'm thinking these will be my Valentine's Day socks. Maybe I'll put some little lace hearts in it. That's a lot going on, but who knows? So I got that. I have never tried Trilogy yarn, and I know Nancy, I know a lot of people love her yarn. This is super soft. This is her lilt sock. It is 8515 merino silk. Not in My Name is what the colorway is called. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It presents purple, sort of magenta there. It's almost like what I'm wearing with a blue background. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Maybe pair it. I have a lot of blues, so maybe I could pair it for a 2-color shawl, or I don't know. It would also make super good fingerless mitts. it has mulberry silk, which is super strong. So despite what people think about silk being all delicate, it is super strong, and I could make socks out of it, but I think it's almost too pretty to be socks, especially since I work from home 80% of the time. Next thing I got this was a Bliss box. Fabric Bliss was a store in Denver. And Luna Gray Fiber Arts is she is a local dyer here. She is also, I think she's in Colorado Springs. This is her Athena. I looked at that and I couldn't pronounce the word. Her Athena sock. It is 75/25, 463 yards. And it is, here's the inspiration photo for it. And I was a part of the Bliss box, but I did not get this one. So I think I must have stopped my membership. But this will be an absolutely fun pair of socks, and maybe with a gold in it to bring out the greens in that. I'm not sure. So that I bought from my friend Siri. Bought another Desert Vista Dye Works. This is called Nashville Nights, and I absolutely love it. It is blue and gray stripes with some bright blips of green. There's a lot of red and orange in it as well. And it came with a matching mini. And I will say, this is always such a generous put up. I have made a pair of socks with contrasting heels and toes from Desert Vista Dye Works, including a mini. And then I still have more than enough to do at least a pair of ankle socks, as well as possibly a pair of Turkish bed socks out of it. Granted, I have short feet. I'm a size 7.5, but I am really excited. This is going to be my March colorway that I knit up. Again, not doing the DVD monthly sock club, but it just is screaming to be knit up. And of course, first in, first out, even though I have so much yarn. And then the last skein that I picked up was from White Birch Fiber Arts, and I have never used White Birch Fiber Arts yarn. You probably know them for the rainbows. This is called The Good Die Young, and it is an 80/20. This also might be my February because it is just screaming Valentine's Day with the gray. Gray is my neutral, and the pink. So I'm really excited to knit this up as well. There are a few other skeins that Siri still has on her D-stash, and I'm kind of tempted to go buy more, but I'm going to be responsible. I am coming up on, I'll wait to talk about that, but I'm trying to be responsible. I just bought, if you include my Artistic Yarn by Abby monthly club and my row one, I just bought 2,800 yards of yarn. So I don't really think I need any more yarn in my life right now. I might fear missing out on it, but I don't need it. So that's all the knitting stuff basically in my life. So with what's going on in my life, I cleaned my office yesterday. I went in the office and I did a whole bunch of work and took some trainings, and I cleaned my office. And I had like 4 planners from years ago and last year. I'm kind of a planner whore. And back in 2013, 2014, I was going to start a podcast. And I found my original notes that I wrote in 2014 for 2015's podcast. Like what I was going to call the sections, and like what my themes were for the year, and trying to have some themes. And I was super organized back then. So it's kind of funny, like winning was the off the needles. Slogging was on the needles, which seemed a little negative. Seriously are the challenges I'm having with products. Meh is the stuff I don't get. So like yays and nays, I may change that to meh. Because I like to hear myself talk is all this blabbering, stuff about my dogs, but my dogs won't even get on camera. My dogs are asleep in the loft down the hall. Then plays well with others talking about knit-alongs, but I never participate in knit-alongs because I don't play well with others. I try and then I just fizzle out. I'm going to Zombie Knitpocalypse. Knock wood, we're going to have it in June. And that's like the easiest knit along possible. You just count your yards. And even that, I'm like, there's something about structure that just doesn't do it for me. So I thought this was kind of funny. Maybe I'll use it for the blog because I should be updating all of this on the blog as well. So I thought that was kind of fun that I found that. otherwise going on in our life. When we moved into this house, we are renting. We are probably going to buy this house. But when we moved in, it was as is. And that sounds like a horrible thing, but it basically means if the ice maker was broken on the refrigerator, the landlord wasn't going to fix it. It was how it was when it got moved in. If there was something horrifically egregious, yes. Or if something breaks, they will fix it. The ice maker I thought didn't work, so I totally replaced it myself and did all this stuff. It turns out that our kitchen is just too hot in the summer and that the ice maker doesn't make ice when it gets super warm. But it's making ice now because it's super cold. We have a gas fireplace in the great room, and I love our great room. It is, I like open floor plans. There's only 2 of us. We don't have to worry about kids running around and needing quiet spaces. So I love our open floor plan. So I finally got the fireplace fixed. We had a gas fireplace. I got it fixed. I was super excited. And then our TV that goes on top of it went out, which my husband saw as a great opportunity because he wants a super huge TV. I don't watch much broadcast TV. I'm a news junkie and that's about it. And I like dumb sitcoms and rom-coms because I am a news junkie. I need to balance those things. But it is fortunately the best time of the year to buy a TV. Between the football playoffs and the Super Bowl is the absolute best time of the year to buy a television. So I sucked it up. I bought a television without telling him, not as a surprise, but I told him I was going to buy it, but I actually went out and purchased it and I fit it in my car, and I will insert a picture of my little Kia Soul with a 65-inch television in the back. I did drive home like this, it's a good thing I do not have big boobs because I literally was up against the steering wheel and it was only 1.5 miles from the store to our house. But I got the old TV off the wall. It was 55 inches. It was very big. I got it off the wall. I got the mount put back on the new TV, but unfortunately I could not get the TV up on the wall. It's about 50 pounds and it's also well over my head. If it weren't over my head, I could do it. But we now have a giant TV, a working fireplace, and 2 teams we don't really care for in the Super Bowl, but it's kind of nice to have all of that working together. We also have a sound bar, so we use it to listen to a lot more music than we do watch TV. But that was nice. So my living room is finally settled, and it feels like it's just such a great place to hang out, and having the gas fireplace is a cheaper way to heat than electricity. So we were using a space heater because heat rises and our furnace is actually on the top floor of the house. So the top floor of the house is always the warmest for both reasons, but I don't want to run the heater at night, the furnace, because then our bedroom and the loft get super hot. By having the gas fireplace, it's perfect because we can heat that great room without ever turning on the furnace to heat the rest of the house, and hot air rises, so the bedroom and the loft get warm enough as it is. I did hear yesterday that there is a bill in the state legislature in Colorado to basically sort of outlaw natural gas appliances. So like if you're selling your house or you're building new construction, you have to put in electric instead of gas. I'm not a cook, but I had a gas stove at a house we lived in, and I love cooking with gas. I would much rather cook with gas. I would much rather heat with gas. I am also darn well aware of how horrible fracking is and other things. Oil shale and fracking got me through college. My parents paid for college because my dad worked at the Colorado School of Mines, which developed a bunch of fracking stuff. But I can't imagine a gas fireplace being illegal. Granted, this is just a conversation starter at the state legislature about increasing efficiency of appliances and things like that, which I completely appreciate. And we have a state mandate to focus more on renewables anyway. And I'm all for that. Our whole neighborhood is solar. When we buy this house, that is the first thing I'm going to do is make it solar. But I love a gas fireplace. And so our next big purchase is a Proform bike. We have a Proform elliptical, but my husband is a cyclist and they are on sale right now. So we are going to get that. I convinced him to get that so that it goes with our treadmill and all the subscriptions we have for that, or our elliptical, and then a fire pit for the backyard. So we are definitely making this house our own, and I imagine we will be purchasing it shortly. Kind of waiting to see what the market does. So that is what's going on in my life. I will go to yays and nays. And we'll start with the negative because the positive is always better at the end. But the frustrating, the meh in my life is that I am back at work and I love my job. But that means going to the office a couple of days a week, which is, like I said, I get to see the residents and it's absolutely fantastic and I adore it. But also, my office is north facing with a big old window from 1972 that is not well insulated and it is very, very cold in there. We have a heating system, we have a boiler system. We work in an office building attached to a hotel that was built probably in 1968 to 1972. And it is so antiquated. And when I first started there, I had a resident, so our residents help take care of the building based on their skill sets. And I had a resident who would come in my office every day. I have an inner office. He would come into the outer office, climb in the ceiling, remove the ceiling tile, and turn on my heater every day. And it was wonderful because I would get heat. The professional company came in and tried to fix it and could never fix it. It always had to be set in the ceiling, and I'm not doing that. So I have wraps and I have a space heater. But yesterday, a new resident who has mechanical training said he was able to fix it and I got heat yesterday. So that was really, really wonderful. But my challenge of going back and forth to work is that we are basically a healthcare organization, but we're a small healthcare organization. So we do not have like a Citrix server. We do not have remote file access because I'm pretty much one of the few people who works from home outside of COVID. So we have an on-site, old-fashioned like F-Drive server. And that's where we're supposed to save everything. And that's where all my predecessors have saved things. That's where my department has saved things. And working from home, I haven't been able to access them. So I would literally like go to the office, bring in a flash drive, take some files and sneak back out, masked and all of that. But we weren't supposed to be working on site. I finally figured out that I have a box file, box.com, and I have like 100 gigs or something there. So I finally have figured out, yay, I can transport my files that I need to write grants to do whatever. I can't get all the photos and I'm redoing our website. So that's kind of a downer. And so those days when I go in the office will be website days. That doesn't look very productive to people because I'm just playing on my computer, but that's their problem, not my problem. The other problem is I got an iPad for Christmas and I do not have two screens at work, so I use it as a second screen, particularly when I'm doing the website. I will make changes on the website and then I'll preview it on my iPad, both for mobile responsiveness, but also just to make sure there's no egregious typos or it's not hideous or something. And so I bring it with me to work. The other thing I do on it is I will have my podcast going over there and use my work computer for work or whatever. And that means bringing my iPad home every day. Not a big deal. It's like 2 pounds, right? I've been really good, but I left my charger cord at work and it's a brand new iPad Pro. So it's a USB to USB-C or USB-C to USB-C, which does not match anything else Apple has done. Shocking. It's not even Lightning like my old iPad. So this morning I sat down to work at my computer, went to go plug in my iPad, and I do not have a charger for it. So I quickly ordered one from Amazon. I was just going to go and pick one up, but I don't want to leave the house today because it's my day at home. So I ordered one to be here tomorrow, but man, was that annoying. Also, it's a brand new iPad, so I'm not really worried about the battery dying if I want to work on it today. But I'm recording this on my phone and not my iPad. So that's my meh, getting back to work. I am happy to be back at work. I am not complaining. I am so blessed to have a job. I am so lucky. I am so lucky to have a job I love, and a great group of people with whom I work, and great partnerships. So I'm excited about that. But the whole thing about just hauling the stuff back and forth to the office is kind of a pain. I also, I do love coming in and seeing the other staff. Like, I've got a great boss. I've worked a lot of places with not great bosses. So to finally have one who just like lets me run my course, it's very helpful where I need it. I'm bringing change to the organization and that's scary for them. I'm making them rethink some things. But that's why they brought me in. Usually they hire from within in the organization. And I was one of 2 new hires that was completely from outside. And so I'm intentionally rocking the boat a little bit. I think my light is flickering, but I have a lot of eye issues, so it might just be my eyes flickering instead. Good stuff that's happening is, I'm not going to say 2020 sucked, because 2020 had a lot of horrible things happen in it. But my husband got a new job in 2020, and he has been exceptionally happy there. We are coming up on his 1-year anniversary, and that is really exciting for me because he's happy. It is less physically demanding. He's a physical therapist. He has had to move bodies for 40 years, and now he's not really moving bodies in his job. He is more overseeing programs and things. And so things are going really well here. We are in a good space. I said, I think we're going to be buying our house. There's like so much good stuff happening, and I'm trying not toxic positivity way, but I'm trying to focus on that. And I call it more happy, less crappy. So, when you can think of all the awful things, I'm just sort of like, yeah, but there's great things that happen too. So we are in a good place here, and that makes me happy. Not overjoyed, not like, woo, everything's great. But it's just, I am able to forge forward. And again, I know the privilege that I have. I am happy to see that people are stepping forward and taking care of their neighbors a lot right now. We had a donor, not in my organization, but my feel-good story of the week is someone went to a local restaurant that has been featured on Drive-Ins, Diners, and Dives, and they ordered basically like $1,000 worth of food to feed hungry families in the community. So hungry families got fed, the restaurant got a big lift, but they didn't know how to identify the needy families, so they contacted their local police department. And I love that, because that's what I do when we do our food distribution. I make sure the sheriff and the police know, because they know who's struggling. And they distributed hundreds of meals this week, and that was super cool to see. So my neighbors are making me happy right now. And that's not to say we're not all struggling in some way. So with that, I will say thank you for joining me. I am going to hopefully have full show notes for this, with the patterns, with some photos. I'm going to take a photo of my fireplace. And I hope you have a wonderful week. I'm going to try and make this more consistent, probably every 2 to 3 weeks. I used to have Mondays off. Well, they were mental health days, so I was supposed to be working on administrative stuff, but not working too hard. But I pretty much have ditched those, and I'm pretty much just doing regular work on those days, but I may still use those as podcast days. We'll see. My only last thing is I have a question for you. My big birthday is coming up. I will be celebrating 50 in February, and I don't know what I want. My husband keeps asking me. My parents keep asking me. I have everything I need. I just bought 2,800 yards of yarn. I don't need any yarn, but what is a great gift? What is something that maybe I'm not thinking of that I can reward myself with for my 50th birthdays? And if you have any great ideas, I'm not a spa day person. I'm not... I don't know. I really can't think of anything I want. I think I have asked for some money to spend at a local dyer. I may buy myself a Dooney and Burke purse. I don't need one, but I don't know what else people get for their 50th birthday. So I will leave you with that to chew on. If you have ideas, you can reach me on Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry at Colorado Knits. My email is hello@coloradoknits.net. All the show notes can be found at coloradoknits.net. And I hope you keep knitting and keep on keeping on. And again, stay positive, test negative, and take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.